Hey guys, it's author Alyssa DiCarlo, and I am back with my YouTube mini-series called From the Ground Up. So I'm really excited because my topic today is specifically going to be about starting a new novel, which I can personally relate to because I have just finished my little mini-series, Catatonic and Switch. It was just a 2-part series, but I just finished those, they're completely done. The World of Catatonic is wrapped up. So now I'm on to my next challenge and my next novel, which is called Wide-Eyed. And I am struggling. It's like I almost forgot what it's like to be in a brand new world because I've been so immersed in this world of Adelaide and Switch and Briar and Vern, and that's what I've known for the past 2 years. And now all of a sudden, I'm in a brand new world with brand new characters, and I don't know these characters. So today I'm going to be kind of going over what it's like to experience a new world and what it's like to meet these new characters and how to set up this world properly so that when you start writing that book, it is confident and it is good and it is just, it's kind of easy rolling, because I've written about 4,000 words so far, and I'm probably going to scrap the whole thing because I didn't feel the connection to my characters, Winter and Brittany. I didn't feel that connection because I didn't know them yet. I just kind of started writing, and then I started writing and I'm like, how am I supposed to be writing about these characters and their lives and these obstacles when I don't even know who they are yet? So that's what today's gonna be. So the biggest thing with getting to know new characters and getting to know this world that you've had kind of wrapped up in your mind and everything is to sit down and do a character study. This is what I did last night. For about 2 hours last night, I did a character study on both Winter and Brittany. And what I did is I went on Google, handy dandy Google, and I searched up, I'm pretty sure it's Gotham something, like Gotham from Batman. And they have a bunch of writing tools on their website. I'm gonna drop the link because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I will put it in the description. But with their writing tools, I was able to locate a little bit of a character study. So what I did is I took my writing journal and I wrote down all of these things that would better connect me with these new characters, like easy stuff, like date of birth, hair color, facial features, any scars, what's their greatest fear, what's their greatest accomplishment, who are their friends, who do they surround themselves with. Although it sounds silly, why do I need to know this about my characters before I even start writing? You do. Because how are you supposed to write a book about these people when you don't really know them? So it's definitely important to get to know these characters kind of through and through before you even start putting them on paper. I've learned it the hard way, and I'm just trying to save you guys some time because it can be exhausting, especially when you're several chapters in and you don't feel that connection, you don't feel that spark because you're like, I don't even really know my main character. Who are they? What makes them tick? What's their worst fear? What's their biggest secret? Do they have a scar on their left leg from a bike accident? Little things like this is so important when it comes to crafting perfect characters and creating a beginning that's going to draw readers in because they can feel that you're passionate about these characters. You want your readers to go in and be like, oh my gosh, this author loves this character. I can feel the passion, I can feel the dedication that they had while creating this person. And kind of going back to my first video about how you want people to be able to pick up the phone and talk to your characters. When you create these dynamics and you create this depth, it gives your readers the opportunity to be able to do that, which is essential to writing a multi-layered book full of actual depth and full of meaning that's going to make a lasting impression. So, kind of going off track because I really need to do a video, a 20-minute video on character studies because that is my biggest thing is character. Because without having, characters that are strong and that are powerful and that are well developed, you don't have a story. You have to have a good character to have a good story. It's not one or the other. You need both. So, the biggest thing, once you do those character studies, once you get to learn your setting, wherever your setting is, I decided to go with a new setting for this book. I decided to, instead of in Catatonic, I kind of stuck to Chicago, which kind of put a lot of obstacles in my way because I felt like I had to stick to landmarks that are real. You know, I feel like I couldn't really make up too much because Chicago is a real place. So I'm kind of making it easier on myself, and in my new book is going to be taking place in a completely fictitious town. It's a town that I have made so I can make it to where, you know, West Side is like full of crime, and I can talk about this mall and this place, and I don't have to worry about people being like, that doesn't exist, because the town doesn't exist. So establishing that setting, those characters, this whole dynamic, that is going to set you up for success, even in your first couple of pages. Because your reader is going to feel within those first 3 pages whether or not you as an author are connected to your character. Because if you're not, you know, I'm gonna feel that as a reader. If I'm just kind of reading and reading like an info dump, like, this is Susan. Susan is this old, has this many siblings. Like, if you're just kind of listing off like who Susan is, I'm not gonna feel like I have that connection with her, because I feel like you're just kind of like reading off her biography on Wikipedia. I don't want that. I want to learn about Susan, but I also want Susan to be well developed within the first page to where I can sense that there's something to her that makes her special, that makes Susan tick, that makes Susan the person that she is. So I think that's really essential. You know, within the first couple of pages, you have to establish that tone. You have to, if you're writing a thriller, you have to have that thrilling aspect in the first couple of pages. And the thing I love about like horrors and thrillers and all that kind of stuff, I love openings that are like creepy and throw you straight into the action and makes you like, oh my God, what is this? Like, this is creepy. This is good. I can feel that this is a thriller. You don't want your audience second guessing, what is the theme of this book? What is going to happen in this book? You want it to be pretty definite. And that's why it's so essential within those first couple pages to establish your characters, to establish your setting, to establish your tone and your literary voice. You know, it all kind of like mingles together. And I know it sounds really complicated. It's like, oh my God, I didn't realize there was that much going into just the first couple pages of my book. It sounds complicated, but I promise it's not. Once you sit down and you get to know your characters, you get to know your story, you actually think your plot through, and you kind of like analyze and pick apart your plot, you're really going to realize, okay, this is where I'm going to start the story. And you don't always have to start it from the beginning. That's the beauty of it. You can start it right in the action, and then you can go back in time and build back up to that. You know, a lot of famous movies and shows and books do that. They start out with something kind of in the future, and then they go back and fill in all of the blanks and fill in those plot holes that you think that there are, but they're not. So yeah, so that's pretty much how you're going to set up a scene and how you're going to thrust the readers into this crazy, crazy world that you have already developed because you spent so much time studying and learning your world and learning your characters. So those first 3 pages, they will reflect that. And that's pretty much all I've got for the first 3 pages. So my biggest advice and my parting statement is to really, you know, get to know your story before you write it. Because readers can sense if you're an outsider, kind of like they are. They don't want you to be just as confused and lost as they might be. They want you to be in charge. You know, this is your book. So tell it. Tell it the way it needs to be told. I'm Alyssa DiCarlo. I'm the author of Catatonic. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I also have I have like a website. I have a merchandise, Etsy, and all that fun stuff. All that will be in the description. I'm going to kind of do a lot of the segments. All of them are going to be about under 10 minutes, so I won't keep you too long. So if you want to hear more writing advice and hear me ramble on about just everything that has to do with writing, publishing, marketing, because I've done it all, you know where to find me. So leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to go over to discuss, and I will be happy to help you guys with anything you want to learn.